Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at the new Fantagraphics release Milky Way by Miguel Villa. This is a book that I pre-ordered. I pre-ordered it just based on the art on the cover and the couple examples of the art that I found online. I think it panned out to be as beautiful of a book as I was hoping it was. And then to complement that, the story is really intense, down to earth, character driven story. So, exactly the type of book I love, exactly the type of book I'm looking for. Then you take all that beautiful art and you add it with Fantagraphics' the paper choices that they have and the production and all that. And it's a really, really great book. I think this is the debut book, at least in English, for Miguel Villa, and it's a hell of a debut book. I'll definitely be looking forward to anything else Miguel Villa does. One of the things that I really enjoyed about the art is that it's all based around a very, very tightly woven grid system. And so Miguel Villa is able to get kind of like a Chris Ware sense of rhythm and in the paneling throughout, and is able to have these like little tangential moments that add up, so the story's not entirely linear, though it's mostly linear. And if you've watched the channel for any amount of time, you'll know that that kind of rhythm in the art is something I like, and then the type of story it is something I like. This type of coloring on this type of paper is something I like. So this is hitting it for me pretty much on every point of things that I am prone to enjoying. And then I think within the type of work that it is really well done as well. There's a lot of also coloration of this really nice, like clean, thin line artwork throughout. So that adds an extra element of subtlety to the artwork. Rather than just everything being in black, it kind of has this extra sense of depth, like a lot of the lines in here are colored as well to push it back and create atmospheric perspective. So really beautiful art throughout. These are our two main characters, and then we'll see a couple other main players that affect their relationship. But this is Marco and Stella. They're boyfriend and girlfriend, and Stella obviously likes to be kind of edgy. Like, she's whispering to Marco in front of her parents that she got her nipples pierced, and then you see this like little inset here where he's reacting to it. Again, that kind of Chris Ware layout where things come in little chunks. There's some more white around to create like a poetic layout in the page. There's these circular insets as well to spice things up. It's just a really pleasing like visual to look at flipping through the pages here, and every illustration is pretty impeccable. So really, really sophisticated stuff. Really nice use sometimes entirely dropping the lines out and just relying on color, which is something that, if you watch the channel, is something that I'm thinking about a lot and playing with my own work and responding to another work. So just kind of firing on all guns for me. Marco and Stella's relationship is falling apart a bit. One of the things that's putting a wedge between them is this character Danny here, Daniel or Danielle. But this is Stella's old like best friend, and she's very, very comfortable with him, thinking that they're just friends. But he's obviously attracted to her, and Marco's picking up on that. This is where Villa uses these little off panels, like kind of tangential panels off to the side to represent more what's going on. So you can really easily read the story down this way and kind of see Stella sitting on Danny's lap here. But then over to the side is this little like parenthetical note, is you see him getting aroused. So you realize that she's either lying about her awareness of him being attracted to her, or she's just oblivious and not really paying attention to the impact that's having on her relationship. Stella becomes a babysitter for this third, I would say, main character in the book. The third in the triangle is Ludovica. Ludovica is obviously a single mother. Stella's starting to babysit for her, and she invites Marco over basically to like make fun of this woman. Like, come look at this like ugly troll of a lady that I'm babysitting for. And Marco notices her gigantic bosom and the fact that she's lactating through her shirt, and that really captures his interest, and he starts fantasizing about that. So basically, Stella has set up the interaction that's going to undermine her relationship going forward, as Marco becomes oddly attracted to this woman that she thinks is kind of like a goblin, gribbling, ugly lady. But Marco really starts to find her attractive and a compelling person. He goes to visit her, and this is where the book gets its title from. I mean, besides the obvious interest in the lactating breasts and her very pale skin, she also works in an ice cream place called Milky Way, and here you can see that represented. You can again see this nice combination of like simple, clean line work with these graphics that are made entirely out of shape and color that really sets up spatiality real nice. And again, you can see that tight weave of like the grid that plays into the Chris Ware look, and not completely non-linear, but that things come in these little kind of packages of information. Yeah, I really like all of the visuals there. So anyways, I don't want to go too much more into like the story or how it plays out. That's basically, you have those four characters, Marco and Stella's relationship breaking apart as things happen between Danny and Stella, and things, really the majority of the book is like the relationship between Marco and Ludovica, causing his relationship with Stella to fall apart. So I don't want to get more into that. I think it's very well written, and you should definitely go out and buy it. But just I wanted to show off a couple other pages that have these really nice, like, playful compositions throughout them. These like 3-tier panels here where you see like sequences happening, and you can read them in multiple directions. More of this really, really tiny, really, really beautiful use of shape-based art. Like, you're not going to be able to see it on screen, but this one has like one white car, and it, it's like the teeniest, tiniest little thing. I really love that look quite a bit. But I do think also that the line art throughout the book is really stunning and really compelling. And then there's just a lot, with these colors and with the layouts, where those kinds of rhythms and things play into the images within the panels, which again is very exciting to me to see how all of these things kind of line up. Anything that has like this real sense of rhythm throughout, where this is kind of creating a split down the middle of the page, but then this is like splitting up on the grid in a different way than it is here, but you get a sense that it's all tightly woven together with the grid. And then that kind of Chris Ware coloration to everything, I think makes a really, really compelling book. I think the clean line European art style mixed with that Chris Ware aesthetic is a really, really pleasing thing as well. Just everything about this book, we gotta be careful about some of the pages that we flip to here, but everything about this book is just exceptionally well done. This is one of those books that I think, me and Sean were talking about this recently, but there's just such a huge variety of really amazing books coming out these days that it's easy for any one stellar piece to get overlooked because there's so much stellar work being done. And I think this is one of those things that is probably going to get not overlooked, but it won't get as much reaction as it would as, say, if something like this came out 20 years ago, when comics of this quality were a little harder to find. And I think that's too bad. I mean, we're all just running into time and money limits. I'd spent a lot of money, more money than I should probably, and more time than I should on this channel, and I still feel like I'm not getting a full picture of all the great stuff that's out there. I know I'm missing stuff, which is part of the reason that we do this channel, is because I know it's just so hard to keep up and to find, and it's hard for these works to get talked about. And I think this is one that definitely deserves really in-depth reviews, really in-depth praise, and really a lot of people talking about. But because it's new, I don't want to give away too much. So definitely go out and get yourself a copy of Fantagraphics' new book, Milky Way by Miguel Vila. It will not disappoint, and hopefully this is a book that people will be talking about for a while to come, and I really look forward to anything else that Miguel Vila puts out. sure to like, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell.